Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, August 10th, and I am Deputy Mayor Vivian McKenzie. I'm here Facebook Live with Andy Stewart, our city manager, stepping in today for our mayor to conduct our weekly live video conversation and update. So Andy, if you want to just get us started.
Good to be with you, Deputy Mayor, on this Tuesday morning in the wonderful city of Peekskill. We have a number of things we wanted to chat with our neighbors and residents about today. The first thing is to talk a little bit about the heat advisory, which has been issued by the state and our Office of Emergency Management, actually saying that we're going to be hitting over 90 degrees with the heat experience up to 100 in the next couple of days. So every time that happens, the city implements its cooling center policy, which is when there's 3 days in succession hitting a certain temperature, we open up the neighborhood center. So the neighborhood center will be open starting tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, and as long as needed, from noon till 6. There's a great air conditioning in there. There's free Wi-Fi. It doesn't get a lot of use, but it's just a message to the community that if you need to go someplace to cool off, the neighborhood center, the library is open as well. You can go in there and make yourself comfortable. And we have staff around to open up the building and close it.
Just to add to that, Andy, folks, if you know you have elderly neighbors or people that you need to check on, these are the times to really check on people in weather like this. And don't be shy. If your air conditioner is not working or you don't have access to it, please come out to the neighborhood center and utilize the service. We want everybody to stay as safe and healthy as possible.
And I will say, because it's been on my mind a lot lately, Mayor, just the question of heat waves. We've seen such amazing climate effects across the country and the world lately with the fires out west, droughts in California, heat waves. We really need to look at the heat emergencies as a serious threat to public health. Yes. They can affect the young, the old, people who have pre-existing conditions. It's very important that that people stay aware of that, stay hydrated, and also, in my personal opinion, take a long-term look at the fact that climate change is driving some of these extreme weather events, and there's a lot to learn and do about that. The city has a very active sustainability program, making investments in greenhouse gas reduction and energy efficiency across a spectrum of activities. So I just want to mention that because it's on my mind.
No, absolutely. The UN's report is in, and they're really, it's sooner rather than later that we really need to start moving forward with a lot of the things that are affecting our climate. So I'm glad you brought that up. The council, I'm sure, is aware of that and is looking at those things as well. So as a city, we really want to move forward with that. Also, in terms of the heat advisory, make sure your animals are hydrated as well. Don't leave them in cars. Make sure they have access to cool air as well.
And also just a shout out to our workers who work right through the heat. Whether they're firefighters or police officers or DPW sanitation guys, the services don't stop just because it's hot. So thanks to all of them for doing what they do.
Yeah.
I just want to mention also that we just sent out another month of our email newsletter, and it's nice to see the subscriptions climbing on that. People are taking advantage of that little news source we're sending out monthly now from City Hall. And it's also posted to Facebook. So if you're interested in subscribing, getting your email, just click on it and put your email address in so that you can receive that conveniently. The highlights are, excuse me, Deputy Mayor?
I'm going to just ask you, repeat again how they can sign up to receive.
Well, I think the easiest thing to do is you can go off the city website or you can go onto the Facebook and click on where the newsletter is posted there. And that will also bring you to a subscription. So you just go down to the bottom of the page and click on subscribe.
And it's free.
It's absolutely free. It's part of our contract with Events to Remember, the publicity company that we hired, who are really doing a great job. We're trying to put out as much public information as we can about what things that might concern residents. The items in the newsletter right now, there's a feature, every month there's a feature of a department. We're doing the comptroller, the finance office, and the comptroller really does some great work down there with his team, Jesse Boyd, deputy comptroller, and others. One of the notable items there is that they put up a new way of paying your taxes essentially and your water bills and so on the city website that makes it easier. So if you have multiple different bills to pay, it remembers who you are, things like that. You can use a credit card. They negotiated a fee on that, which the city council supported in terms of controlling costs for the consumer. So the other mentionable on that is just that as a couple of meetings ago, we had a presentation of the Government Finance Association did an outstanding kind of merit award to the city of Peekskill for the way it manages its budget, and specifically for the way we produce our annual budget report, which is an outstanding example of transparency as far as people being able to see exactly how your budget works, what your debt load is, and it provides a lot of data too, even on services, the number of calls for service in the police and the fire department, what's going on in the DPW, things like that, and information about the city as a whole, its population, and so on and so forth. So it's really a very impressive report. It's available for download off the city's finance department website. We encourage people to take a look at it if you're interested in that kind of thing.
A thing to note about that, the city is only one of 30 municipalities to receive this certification, this award. So I think it's really important that we note that, and kudos to our department for that, our finance department. And if I could go back to the new system that you were talking about for paying your bills, it also speaks your language. So if you speak Spanish, you're able it will help our residents for interpreting. So it's definitely a good system to use.
Yeah, you can interact with more than 100 different languages.
Correct. Yep.
Deputy Mayor, one of the things we always do first is talk about our COVID numbers. Do you want to take a minute to do that?
Sure. So, we kind of thought that we were, getting back to normal and doing in-person meetings and things. And I think people have really kind of taken COVID off of the table, and we really need to buckle down and really start to be careful. The COVID data, so if we go back to the beginning of the year in January 17th, 21, the county dashboard had 438 active cases in the county. That was the highest. As of January 24th, there was 393 cases. February 14th, it was 151 cases, and it was going down. On July 1st of 2021, we had 64.5% of people with one vaccine and only 7 active cases. On July 18th, we had 63.8% active cases, 63.8% of vaccinated, and then active cases were 13. As of July 27th, we have 20 active cases, and the last note for August 10th today, there are 46 active cases with 67.5% of people with at least 1 dose. So the numbers are showing us that things are going up, and we need to really concentrate on getting people vaccinated. We're looking at all the news, World Health, everyone is pointing to the only way to really get past this is to make sure folks are vaccinated. So please get your teenagers vaccinated, anybody who is eligible. We're really impressing upon people so that we don't go back to a situation where we were last year.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Internally, as city government, we're also reverting back to our standard of mask use, where anybody who's in the building has a mask on. It doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not, because we now know that the Delta variant can be passed on by vaccinated people. And so just expect to wear a mask if you're coming into City Hall. If you see city workers in shared spaces, they'll be wearing masks unless they're back in some back rooms working by themselves. So we really want to encourage people to take safety very seriously. Obviously, continue to wash your hands. Try to avoid, densely packed social situations where people aren't wearing masks. We don't know what the state right now has plans for, as far as, earlier during the state of emergency, the governor allowed the city council to meet remotely. They took that right away. And they also set all sorts of limitations, obviously, on restaurants and sizes of groups and gatherings and so on. Right now, we don't have those limitations. So who knows whether they'll change those rules and revert back. But the Centers for Disease Control is very clear that we are in a surge, and around the world, in the United States, the Delta variant is on the rise.
Yes,
Fortunately.
Unfortunately, yes.
So just a couple of other items that are on our list anyway. We want to talk about some happy stuff too. There's a lot of great things going on in the city, and we just want to remind people of a couple of things coming up. And just for one thing, the city clerk recently had a half-day Saturday for people to come in and get paperwork done. They're doing that again on August 28th. we'll keep promoting that. It's on the Facebook page. So thanks to the clerk and her staff for opening up on a Saturday just for convenience. It's particularly good if people are looking for parking permits and things like that.
Yeah, that's on the 28th from 9 a.m. to 12.
Right. Wanted to mention also that the Youth Bureau has been doing some really wonderful events lately. They recently had the National Night Out, which is a collaboration with the police department and other agencies. Really a great event in Pugsley Park.
That was amazing. It's nice to see that park being used for events like that. It was really well attended. Kudos to the Youth Bureau and Mrs. McDonald and everyone who participated, all the partners that were out. There were many, many community partners that made that event really successful. So thank you all.
And she has a lot more good stuff coming up. On the 12th, coming is a International Youth Day with a celebration of healthy food starting at 11 o'clock. It's open to the public. Folks come down to the Youth Bureau to check that out. And on the 26th is a back to school supplies giveaway up in Depew Park.
Right, that's the book bag giveaway.
Right.
That's an event that has been amazing every year. And the book bags are coming in. So I was over there last week, so it's a good thing.
We're posting more of these events on the bulletin boards around city, the downtown. I don't know if folks have noticed, but we've had a wonderful volunteer named Linda who's been printing these flyers for all the different events and putting them on the bulletin boards on Division Street, on Main Street side, and over by the gazebo, and also down by the railroad station as well. So if you're walking around and you see those flyers, please take note.
Thank you, Linda. That's Linda Wildman. She's doing an amazing job.
Those bulletin boards are just sitting there not getting used, you know?
Yeah.
So now she's on it. So good for her. Another thing you'll see as a flyer is the Jazz in Pugsley Park, which is coming up on Saturday. Wonderful Ray Blue with his extraordinary musical talent and inviting people from his team to play music in Pugsley Park. Right, starts at 12:30 p.m.
That kind of coincides with the farmers market.
Right, so you can get some good food and go hear some great music, or vice versa, and have a little picnic. So good to see that. This Friday is a family movie night down in the riverfront that the recreation department puts on. It's the Tom and Jerry, the movie.
Yep.
So people remember who Tom and Jerry are from way back.
Showing our age, Andy, showing our age.
I love Tom and Jerry. So we still have Bicycle Sundays, which is closing the streets in the park for bike riders and families to have safety to ride their bikes around in Depew Park. The Kylie Center is open Tuesday through Saturdays, 3 to 11 for Peekskill youth. It's free and welcome to come down there and use the facilities. So those are just some events and services I want to talk about on the fun side of the equation while we're trying to deal with the challenging issues that we face as well.
Just a reminder of the Peekskill Flea Market. That's also back. So that started August 1st, correct?
Yep.
That's every Sunday until November 21st from 8 to 3 in the Bank Street lot.
That covers some of the major items that I wanted to make sure we talk to the public about. I just want to mention as well, though, that there's an affordable housing opportunity for seniors at Drumhill Flats. And this is something we put brochures out in City Hall. It's on Facebook. They recently asked us to help promote that. I think the applications are open through mid-August or something like that, Deputy Mayor.
It's August 14th is the deadline. There are applications both in English and Spanish right in the foyer when you walk into City Hall, but you can also go online and get them as well. And that is the property that's located on 202 Crampon Road up towards the Beach Shopping Center.
I wanted to note also just on the side on Public Works, we've been working on trees a bit lately. Recently, the staff, yesterday actually, we were out working on the brickwork around a tree that's located right across the street from the gazebo, which the sidewalk's been buckled there. So we appreciate them making that look nice. At the same time, going up Division Street towards Monument Park, we've actually taken stumps out from all those tree pits. There's 11 tree pits that just had stumps of old sidewalk trees. And we've removed the stumps in preparation for planting new trees there. We're going to be talking about that with the city council on Monday night. We have a donor who's going to donate. I don't want to say his name now because we haven't talked about it publicly, but we have a donor donating trees, which is just wonderful. And we're working on getting more trees planted in other empty tree pits around the downtown area. So it's nice to see a little progress on that.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And the donor is doing this in honor of his mother. So it's really going to be a really nice thing. So when we talk about it, we really want to thank him.
Absolutely. One of the big missing trees you see out there are where it used to be a big willow tree down by the boat launch. there's 2 stumps down there. I don't know how many years ago those were taken out, but it strikes me as a real opportunity to try to plant some more trees.
Okay.
So we're working on that. Maybe we should take a look over at the Facebook to see if we have any questions or concerns we can take care of. Sometimes we just review these, the mayor and I, and see if we can respond to something factual. We have Mrs. Zinzer saying she wanted to know more about the active case count, so we provided that information. But just as a reminder, the county is maintaining that data on their website, and it's just posted to our Facebook page. So if you want to know active case count or vaccination rate, you can just click on it and get the latest information.
Right. Our data for August 10th shows the active cases here are 46.
Which is a big increase over the last
Right.
couple of weeks, a big increase.
Right. It's more than double because on the 27th, we were only at 20.
Mrs. Williams is saying she'd love it if the board meetings could be remote again. She's on the Conservation Advisory Committee, and she has children at home who are unvaccinated. She would love to be able to not have to meet in person. We all agree with that. Our ability to meet remotely as boards and committees was as per the governor's emergency declaration, which expired. And so we're stuck with in-person meetings for people appointed those boards, although the public can watch on TV in many cases. So maybe the state will change that rule. It remains to be seen. Let's see. And it's just somebody just lamenting the fact that we're stuck with masks for a while, and it's just what we have to do. And the importance of social distancing. Our city staff working in the building, yes, our city staff is here. We do provide some telecommuting options for certain administrative staff who can do that effectively from home. Why did the 11 trees die going up Division Street towards Monument? That is a mystery. This is a question from Mr. Smith. I don't know why they died. Apparently they were cut down 5 or 6 years ago because of some disease. And I wish I knew. And certainly whenever we plant trees, you expect a few of them to have to be replaced. But that was a lot of trees for the city to lose a little while back. And I don't know why they died. Plus there are more over by the Bank Street, the parking lot there. There's stumps over there too. Yep. So I know nobody wants to cut down a tree if we can possibly avoid it by maintaining the tree. We have support for replacing the willow trees down at the waterfront. I know one person who has wedding pictures from underneath those willow trees.
It must be amazing.
Yeah. And there's a question about Section 8, which they're always there, ready to take your questions. I don't know the exact status of their application process right now. I know they work through kind of sets of people on their list. So definitely contact Section 8 if you have questions about that. So those are some of the questions that we're seeing on Facebook. We appreciate the opportunity to address them on the fly whenever possible. If you need to email me or the mayor, deputy mayor, just go ahead and do that. We will respond offline as well. Let's see, I just want to mention also, just this morning, we had a visit from Councilman Ledesma from the city of Cuenca. He, his wife, his son Juan, and some other folks came on a kind of a diplomatic visit from our sister city in Cuenca, Ecuador. It's pretty exciting to meet them. They're very interested in how our government works, asking the deputy mayor questions about how the council works. So we showed him the meeting room and some of the ways in which the city departments work. So he'll be touring around today. He's going to go to the police department, the fire department. They're having lunch over in the neighborhood center. So it's exciting to see that connection to Ecuador take place.
It really is, especially since we have, such a large population here. It's really great to be able to speak to someone and see how their government is run, and look at the differences and, quite frankly, the similarities that we have, because there are quite a few similarities of the way that they conduct business. So it was a great opportunity, and I'm sure that they'll be back, and we'll continue to work on this sister city relationship.
Yep, that's a really exciting project. So having said that, I don't know, I think we're basically through with our topics, Deputy Mayor, unless there's anything else you want to mention before we sign off.
Did you want to go over, our meeting is August 16th. There'll be some policy stuff on there.
Oh boy, do we have a busy meeting for August.
Very busy meeting.
Oh my God, we're gonna have to pace ourselves and drink some coffee before the meeting starts. Because there's
Before, during, and after, probably.
a lot of really important things, actually. A lot of it is housekeeping, contracts and agreements and so on. And some of it's policy work. As you know, we've been working on a number of policies, a snow removal ordinance, a tree removal permit ordinance, the affordable housing ordinance. We'll be back to talk more about that. We've set some public hearings related to some earlier legislative work on a better way of permitting special events that enables them to come in and apply for several events in a row. Things like that are all on the list. We got some great stuff coming from the clerk's office. People organizing great things in Peekskill. A block party permit. You can pull a permit for a block party and close your street down. You just have to talk to the clerk and make sure that it works from a safety perspective. The Taconic Roadrunners Club is planning a fundraiser for the homeless shelter with a run. It's a mile-long run that's going to come out of the parking lot down by the Peekskill Brewery, I think. So we love to support these things. Assumption Church is planning a parade. There's a very interesting proposal for a festival with music and vendors that celebrates the Wizard of Oz heritage here in the city and all the kind of arts and entertainment associated with that. So some great stuff is coming up for city council discussion that promises more kind of fun things to do in the city going forward. So that's some of probably the more notable things. We also need a new cover for the pool. So yeah, so that's the kind of municipal housekeeping stuff that I kind of lump together as just needing to get it done. So
Okay, but that's the 16th meeting, so a lot coming forward.
yeah, there's a lot of I should say as well that Dr. Mauricio, our school superintendent, is going to be visiting with the council that night and offering a short presentation, kind of update on the school district as well.
Okay, great. So a lot of good things going on.
There's a lot, very, very busy here in City Hall.
Yep.
So thank you so much for everybody who's participated and listened and asked questions. This video will be posted on Facebook. People can look at it and are welcome to communicate.
All right, thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate it. Andy, thanks for letting me join you today, and I look forward to it.
My pleasure. Take care now. Bye-bye.